Hi guys, a massive warm welcome to Total Sports Mastery, helping you develop your very own 6 or even 7 figure sports, business and brand, even if you've never played professionally before, guys, as well. Did you know that these sports enthusiasts, thousands of them online, making more than a full-time income, working just part-time hours, basically bringing communities together in the sport that they absolutely love, guys. I'm going to explain in a moment, even if you've got no experience, even though that you've never played the sport yourself, even as you might play it as a hobby, okay, yeah, that you can make more than a full-time income based on working just part-time hours based on the sport that you love. Also, if you're an ex-professional athlete or an ex-semi-professional athlete and you've been paid to play sports, so my background is I used to be a professional goalkeeper in soccer or football, to choose the better way, guys, okay, yeah. So whether you've played professionally or semi-professionally as an American football, baseball, lacrosse, martial arts, guys, okay, boxing, etc. If you've played that as a sport, guys, okay, especially if you're doing a job now that you absolutely hate, oh my goodness me, guys, okay, you need to be doing this, okay? So please make sure that you subscribe to my free online academy, guys, because I'll show you exactly how you can create an income based around all your experiences around the sport that you love. But again, you might be saying, well, look, Ray, I'm a sports enthusiast. I would really love to make money doing in the sport that I love. I've got the biggest I don't want to say excuse, guys, not an excuse, but the biggest challenge I hear from a lot of sports entrepreneurs or potential sports entrepreneurs is I've just not got the experience. Like I say, if you've got the experience, guys, complete no-brainer, guys, you need to be doing this, and you can get it done pretty quickly. Again, I explain how to do it in the free academy. But basically, if you're a sports enthusiast and you're like, Ray, I've never played professional, or I've not even played as a hobby. Let me give you an example, okay, guys? Okay, yeah. So obviously we've all heard of F1, obviously the driving, okay, yeah, to go down the track like 5,000 miles an hour, guys, okay, yeah. So my oldest daughter is into F1 big time, and she follows a lot of YouTubers, etc. Now a lot of these guys are making a lot of money, literally just covering F1. Now, none of these guys have actually sat in an F1 car, guys, okay, yeah, because that's obviously it's the elite of the elite, okay, but that's not stopping people making money in their chosen in the sport that they love, okay. So to give you an example, to start a community, you don't have to teach. Everyone thinks, well, to start a community, I've got to teach. No, you don't, okay. So one of the communities that I've got that's got over 5,000 members, it's all based around goalkeeping, as I said, because I might have mentioned this already. I used to play professionally as a goalkeeper. I bring everyone together, and we just all communicate with each other. Obviously, I do a bit of teaching in there, but it's more just to bring a community together, guys. So, for example, whatever sport you're in, you could be again into UFC. There's a lot of people making a lot of money talking about their passion, UFC, but they've never been punched in the cage, guys, which I personally would never go in there. To me, those guys are complete athletes, aren't they? I thought being a professional goalkeeper, you had to be fit and crazy, but there's no way I'd step into the UFC, guys. Those guys are absolute elite. They are the best of the best, guys, okay, yeah. I'm only saying that just in case I bump into one. I walked past Darren Till in my home city. I visited my home city. A few guys, Darren Till was a very famous UFC fighter, so I did wave to you, Darren, but I don't think you see me, Darren. But yeah, obviously he's had a fantastic career. Anyway, I digress. So going back to UFC, or how you can make an income in your chosen sport. So basically, to bring a community together, you don't have to teach, okay. You can just bring them together just to talk about obviously your chosen sport, or you can just do like a weekly or daily news. There's a lot of people making a lot of money online by bringing the community together, and all they talk about is just the weekly news, or they do it on a daily basis. So for example, when the UFC, again, I'll use UFC because I like watching UFC, like the UFC. So you get a lot of people out there making a lot of money just talking about the daily news from the UFC, when a fight happens, when a fighter's retired, and when a fighter might maybe go to another gym. There's 1,000 things that you can speak about and have that on the daily news, on your channel, in your community, guys. Like, okay, so you don't have to teach. And then eventually what can happen, guys, once you bring that community together, you can then teach if you wanted to, or if you didn't want to teach, okay, you think, well, no, I still don't want to teach, right? But what you do then is you team up with somebody. Like, for example, I'll use Darren Till again, okay? So let's say I was going to do a UFC channel. I obviously bumped into Darren Till. I might say, hey, Darren, do you fancy doing a program with myself? You know what I mean? Okay, you come in once a week and you do all the chat, the talking, etc. And Darren Till comes in once a week, for example, and talks about the choke, all the different chokes that obviously obviously fighters use, etc. And then obviously what would happen then is you charge your community, for example, to be on this live call, and obviously you share that with, you know, with you do maybe a 50-50 split, for example, obviously with Darren Till, because you've used him as an example, or like I say, any sport person that you want. So again, if you're, like I say, if you're a sports enthusiast, guys, you absolutely love your sport, okay? And also as well, just imagine this as well, if you created your own online community, okay, and then obviously on the back of that you've done like a YouTube with it as well, because you can sort of work together as well. I'll stick to F1 again. So imagine it's F1, you'll absolutely love F1 driving, but you've not got the money to go around and as they go from country to country. If you get big enough, guys, okay, yeah, that will fund you going to obviously all the different F1 races around the world, or like the UFC, or whatever sport that you're in. But also as well, if you get big enough as well, guys, okay, yeah, these a lot of these you'll get invites as well, because if you've got like thousands of followers, and you'll get thousands of followers pretty quickly, guys, if you know how to do it. And I will show you how to do it in the free academy, so make sure that you subscribe, guys. You'll start getting invites to UFC fights, for example, like F1. So you actually go there behind the scenes, okay, yeah. So you see where this can help, just by starting off a community, guys, where you might just start off by doing weekly news, okay, yeah, or daily news, sorry. And as that gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you get more contacts, etc. You know, that's going to lead to a lot more opportunities. And like I say, then you could go into teaching, and if you wanted to, because if you can then do programs within your community. So let's say, like myself, I've got 5,000 goalkeepers in my community. I might create a program or a course, which I've not done yet, to be honest with you, because I've got that many things on my plate, guys. But I could create a course, maybe charge, you know, a few, let's say $500, for example, and out of those 5,000, 1,000 might buy it. Boom, straight away. I've just made it. If math is correct, you know, 50,000 is it? Might be more. You know, so that's how you can, as your community grows, guys, okay, yeah, and you get more experience and more confident, maybe then you can do some type of course, or maybe you do a live event and you charge people for that live event. Or like I've already mentioned, you bring in someone within the sport who has got the confidence to maybe do a course or a program, and you say, hey, well, look, you know, how much you want to charge? And they say $500 per person. You go, okay, so we split it 50-50. Yeah, cool. You've got 5,000 members, for example, and 1,000 members buy to, you know, find out how to do all the chokehold I'm going to use Darren Till again. Sorry, Darren. What was it? You know, and Darren's obviously teaching, you know, how to do the chokeholds or the different type of chokes the guys do in the UFC. People are going to pay for that, okay, yeah. And you have a split 50-50 with Darren Till, for example. You sell 1,000 courses, for example. You split that 50-50, guys, okay. So there's so many ways to do it. So let me explain how to get going to start. So you might be thinking, right, I'm all in, okay, yeah. How do we do it? Okay, so first of all, the best way to do it, guys, is, as I keep saying, join me free online academy, guys, because I go through a lot more detail. I also go live as well, so you get a chance to ask me personal questions. So basically, this is how you can turn into your sports knowledge. So first one, lesson one, I've already mentioned this. You don't have to be a guru. Sometimes you just need to be one step ahead of the people within your community. I remember one of the best films I've ever seen with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, called Catch Me If You Can. And that was all about a young 17-year-old, I forgot his name now, based on a true story. He was only 17 and he was a con man in the United States. And what happened is he went around forging checks, etc. And I actually spent 1 year teaching at a college or a school or a university, and the students were only 1 year younger than him. And when he was interviewed by the police, they're like, how the hell did you teach a subject that you've had no idea about? And basically his answer was, and this is a true story, guys, okay, he said, there was just one chapter ahead of my community. So it was one chapter ahead of the pupils. You only need to be one chapter ahead of your community, okay? So one of the things you can do to get going, maybe before you even start your online community, is start social media channels based around the sport that you love. Again, we teach it in the free online academy. And basically what happens then is you can sort of get an understanding if it's going to work for yourself. So you can just literally start it again. Like I say, let's just say you're into UFC. I'll use UFC again, because like I say, or into football or stuff. It doesn't matter, any sport, guys, any sport, baseball, any sport that you love. Start some channels, you know, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and just start literally on a daily basis, just tweeting out, you know, some local news. And as it starts growing as well, guys, okay, yeah, you'll have an idea then, okay, maybe this is going to work. So you might not have the confidence to jump straight into an online community, which, even though I believe you can, because literally you can start it for just $9 a month, by the way. You don't pay me, by the way, yeah. You can start it for $9 per month your own online community. So it's a complete no-brainer. But for me personally, I would start off with the social media for a few months just to get obviously the things rolling. And then also what will happen there then is once you start posting out, you'll start getting people asking you questions. Okay, so lesson number one, I'll come back to all the actions in a moment. Okay, actually I'll go through each one as I go. So lesson one is you don't have to be a guru. Go back to Leonardo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can. You just need to be one chapter ahead, one step ahead of your community. Okay, but like I say, if you're going to do like daily news, all you're literally doing is just getting the information from somewhere, put it onto one community, and bringing people in who's got the same interest in your sport. And like I say, test it first, guys. Okay, yeah, test it first on social media outlets and etc. But I'd create a community from day one, because you don't need thousands and thousands of people, guys, okay, to make money with your own online community. Lesson number two, also what you'll find is people pay for clarity and they want support. They don't just want endless information. Gone are the days where people would buy, like, they'll spend $2,000, for example, on a course that they might take them 3 months to get the head around. People just want answers, to be honest with you. Okay, yeah. So what happens is when you start posting out on your social media, or people come to your community, they're just going to say to you, Ray, I need the answer to this. Please give me the answer. And then it's up to yourself within your community. So my goalkeeping community with over 5,000 members, now I do that free of charge, because my business is called Just for Keepers. It's actually the biggest goalkeeping organization. The biggest goalkeeping organization in the world. At its peak, it was in 37 countries across 6 continents. I'm very proud to say we've helped more of our goalkeeping students achieve their dreams than any other goalkeeping organization on the planet. So because my business is well established now for over 25 years, my passion is just goalkeeping, guys. Okay, so I literally answer everyone back for free. You don't have to do that. Okay, yeah. If someone wants an answer, you can say, hey, listen, get on the phone. These things that you can set up where basically people will pay for your expertise. Now, even though that, like I say, you might be a bit nervous, you think, well, right, I'm not an expert yet. Remember, be one chapter ahead of them. But because you've got an online community, people will automatically see you as an authority. Automatically will see you as an authority, okay, because they've not got a community themselves. Okay, even if you've only got 50 people in your community, people will still see you as an authority. So if they ask you a question, you can say, hey, yeah, look, jump on the phone, I'll answer, this is my price. And people, I promise you guys, okay, people will go, brilliant. People will pay. Basically, in this day and age now, people are not bothered. And think about this yourself. Would you rather pay $2,000 to be on a course that's going to take you 3 months to master? You've got to watch maybe, say, 100 videos. Or would you pay $500 for someone to give you the answer straight away? Or even $2,000 for someone to give you the answer straight away so you can implement it into your life? People just, in this day and age, people just want to basically, they just want the information straight away. Also, they'll just keep it simple as well. Okay, so literally, once you create your online community, you just have one offer inside and just have maybe one price. So for example, if you start off, or like I say, if you start your community, your online community, based on your sport, and it's just basically based on the daily news, for example, okay, inside you can like that one offer could be a phone call. Okay, yeah, that one offer could be a weekly live session. Okay, yeah. Like I say, because once people are in your community, you only need one person. You can start making money off that one person, guys, okay? Because that person's joined your community because they've got the same passion for your sport. So again, I'll use UFC for an example. It can be any sport, guys, okay? Yeah. So your one offer within your community could be once a week you go live and you have someone, it could be you, okay, or it could be a UFC expert, for example. And trust me, guys, okay, if you speak to many UFC fighters or most professional athletes, okay, even though that they're playing professionally, a lot of people think, wow, there must be multi-millionaires. 95% of professional athletes, they're making a good income, but it's just a good average man's income or a good average woman's income, guys. Okay, it's not life-changing income. It's not until you get into that 5%, the Conor McGregors, for example, of this world, the Ronaldos in football, where they make obviously life-changing money. So if you go to whatever sport that you're in, okay, within your community, listen, you can go live once a week and you can have a guest speak on there, and your one offer could be literally it's like $100, for example, for people to come in and listen to that live chat. Again, I'm going to use Darren again. Sorry, Darren. Okay, for example, could be like Darren Tilly. He might come in once a month, and have a questions and answers, and people will pay $100 easily more, literally to have a questions and answers with someone as talented, obviously, like I said, of Darren, or whatever sport that you're in. So think about your sport, guys. Okay, yeah, and remember as well, once you start your online community and more people get involved, and then you might maybe start going to whatever sport that you're in. You start getting invited to those sports. You start to get to know the professional athletes in your sport. You get to know them then, and you can say, hey, by the way, look, I'm always looking for guests to come on my show, and if you know that you're going to get, say, 50 people, and they'll all pay $100 each or even more, you can say, look, I charge, it's only going to be an hour. I'll give you $1,000. I'll tell you now, most sports athletes will do that, okay, yeah, because $1,000 is $1,000. It might be more. Okay, I'm just giving you an example, but if you know that, like I say, you know that you'll get at least 50 or 100 people will pay you $100, okay, yeah, you can then go to the chosen professionals within the sport that you love. And ask them, hey, do you fancy having, it's only 1 hour, and I'll be able to give you $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. Most will not say no. And here's the beauty as well, you get to know these guys as friends as well. Okay, yeah. So like I say, in my profession, goalkeeping, I've got to know like absolute legends in the goalkeeping world through what I've done over the years, like absolute legends, like goalkeepers. For example, when I used to, my home city is a place called Liverpool in England, and in Liverpool, these two fantastic teams, Liverpool Football Club and Everton Football Club. And I actually played for Everton for 2 years as a professional, so my family still don't speak to me because I signed for the enemy, but I had 2 amazing years at Everton Football Club. But I used to watch a goalkeeper called Bruce Grobbelaar from the stands when he used to play for Liverpool Football Club. Bruce was my idol, and now Bruce, I actually personally know Bruce because of what I've done in my goalkeeping niche, all the communities that I've created. I was fortunate enough to run an event in Canada. Bruce come along as our guest coach for 1 week. I stayed 1 week in a hotel with Bruce. That was 15 years ago, and we still keep in contact to this day. So that could be you guys. Okay, so this is the perks as well by starting your online communities. I've got friends now in the niche that I love, goalkeeping, who my idols. Okay, yeah. They message me. I'm like, wow, Bruce Grobbelaar is messaging me. You know what I mean? I've got other, obviously, I won't mention everyone, guys, okay, yeah, but that's just an example. I'm like, oh my goodness me, how lucky am I, as a child screaming from the stands watching Bruce Grobbelaar play for Liverpool Football Club. Did I ever dream that he would message me, hey Ray, do you fancy coming to do this at the weekends? I was like, never in a million years, guys. I'm just a working class lad from Liverpool, England. So hopefully you can see, just by creating your own online community, guys, one, you can make a lot of money from this as well in your spare time. This can be your full-time income, but also as well, like I say, you get to meet your idols because you can, like I say, invite them on your show. You get invited to all your sporting events. So you get to know all the professionals, like I say, especially if you invite them on your show and you're paying them, you'll get to know them personally, guys, as well. And that can only be a few weeks and a few months away, guys, where you can actually start to get to know your idols, because if they're going to come onto your show once a month and you're going to give them $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, depending obviously how much you can charge, etc. It's like you're going to get to know them, guys, okay, and they're going to be very appreciative, obviously, that not only that you're giving them income, but you're also raising their exposure as well, because a lot of professionals will come onto your community if you've got, especially if you've got a few thousand members, because it's all about exposure as professional athletes. The more exposure that you can get as a professional athlete gives you more opportunities as well. Yeah. So like I said, you've got to remember, not every professional athlete is making millions and millions, guys. Okay. Yeah. A lot of them, yeah, it might be good income, but it's just an average. It's just a good above average wage. So I hope that helps, guys. Okay, yeah. So if you're looking to obviously maybe create a side income, or maybe you're sick to death of the job that you're in, and you'd love to create your own business based on the sport that you love, that is more or less recession proof, guys, click the link below. Come and join my free online academy, guys, and I'd love to help you obviously achieve your sporting dreams. Okay, see you on the inside. All the best.